I'm an American who vividly remembers the horrific acts of September 11th, 2001. As a speaker, consultant, and trainer who lives in the greater Boston area, I was working with my local client, Verizon, when the horrific acts began around 9 o'clock. I had about 50 women for a workshop that I was conducting for them, and then about another 100 who were in various locations being simulcast into the session. When the officials came in around 9:30, I thought something was wrong with something going on with Verizon. Little did I realize that our lives were going to change forever. They told me that something was going on with the World Trade Center and a plane had hit the building. It was amazing and stunning to me, but I realized that I had the lives of about 150 women who were watching everything that I was doing, and I could not show a bit of shock or surprise. So I sat there, prayed, and brought my own religious beliefs into the forefront and asked them for a moment of silence. And then about 15 or 20 minutes later, another plane hit the World Trade Center and all pandemonium broke out, not only in Boston, but certainly elsewhere. We had to end the workshop. I ran downstairs. I'm in downtown Boston, really wondering, is there going to be another attack in Boston since these planes had come from this area? It was total chaos outside. I ended up going to the radio station where I was broadcasting on a weekly basis my radio program, and actually was on the air with a colleague. We were broadcasting live from about 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock when the station went off the air, letting people know what was taking place and how we were finding out a little bit about Osama bin Laden, who we had heard distantly but really didn't know that much about. It was a day that was going to change all of us. My friends and colleagues and people at Verizon unfortunately lost people in the New York area as a result of the tragic episodes that took place. And then the next day I was scheduled to work with another dear client, the TJX company. I went there the next day, and it was just a very somber scene. It was a retreat, a leadership retreat, and we couldn't conduct the retreat because of everything that had taken place. And then I found out that they had lost 7 people on one of the planes that had left Boston going to New York. So I take this very, very personally. I lost clients. I lost people who will never see the light of day in terms of children growing up and weddings and graduations and the things that I just take for granted. But I also realized that as an American, we now have a responsibility to shed light in a different kind of way, in a way where we can proudly show who we are as people, who we are as Americans, and most importantly, as citizens of the world. I'm hoping that you will take a call to action with me and look at what has happened over the last 10 years, politically, economically, socially. Look at your own set of circumstances, look at where you're working or where you're living, and find a way where you can connect with someone outside of your country, outside of where you happen to live. One of the greatest things that I think about looking back as a diversity and multicultural specialist is how little Americans really know about the attitudes and perceptions of people in other countries. And I really think that part of my job and part of the job with the Multicultural Symposium series is to bring people together, to connect people so that they can dialogue, they can agree to disagree, they can find out about each other, they can learn about cultures and habits and traditions in a way that will not only be beneficial to them, but certainly be beneficial to people that they're meeting for the first time. I also would love to see more Americans to get this. This is a passport. This gets you out of the country. This gets you back in the country. And this allows you to travel wherever you want to go and take your stories, take the kind of traditions and cultures that you have to distant lands. So I'm hoping that in the next couple of months, if you don't have one of these, that you'll get one of these and you'll find somewhere to go, whether it's this year or next or in the next 5 years. Travel somewhere and take your culture with you, and then find ways that you could explore the cultures of some other persons in other lands. September 11, it happened. And other September 11 events in other countries have happened since that time. But it doesn't mean we can't take back the hope and the encouragement that we all need to have as citizens of the world to get to know one another in a more cooperative spirit. It means that we need to work together to shape a new future, shape the kind of future that will be beneficial to my grandchildren and your grandchildren as well. We'll never, ever, ever forget what happened with September 11, but we can certainly use it as a teaching tool, as horrific teachable moments to build a better bridge into our future.